Welcome everyone to the Incredicast podcast. Today we have a special edition. It is called the Super Bowl Before the Storm. It is where we're going to be talking about the NFL playoffs of the 2018 season. I'm Adam and I'm here with David, and he's going to get us started off.
Yeah, so the same thing that we've seen every year so far in the AFC, the Patriots dominating, just so far out ahead. You got the Pittsburgh Steelers behind them in the second seed in the AFC, which those two teams really are ahead of everyone else. That the Chiefs, the Bills, the Titans, the Jags, they're not really quite there on the same stool as the Pats and Steelers. At the same time, everyone who's in the playoffs, whether it be first round bye or the wild card, they have a shot at it. And then over in the NFC, you got the Eagles, who look a little hurt. Had a fantastic season, and then the loss of Carson Wentz as they traveled into LA. Excuse me. Hurt their team a lot. Carson Wentz is a great leader of that team. And you got at the Vikings, who, if they can somehow manage to fight their way to Super Bowl 52, that game will be played in their own stadium. Third seed, you got the Rams behind them, who are a good team, no less.
I think they slowed down just a little bit.
Yeah,
but
they did a little bit.
Maybe they can pick up.
Yeah. Todd Gurley at halfback position, he is running over hill, over dale. He's going everywhere. Todd Gurley is a beast. And it's really cool to see the Rams have a run game, because usually it's been their quarterback. Usually it was, Sam Bradford when they had him, or it was, Kurt Warner when they went to the Super Bowl in St. Louis. So yeah, in the fourth seed we have the Saints, with, Drew Brees being Drew Brees, who's just tearing it up, he's old, he's been playing for a while, and yet he leads the league in just all these different stats every single year, with passing yards and excuse me, and you have sometimes touchdowns, and it's just crazy. And then the Panthers are not far behind them, tied with the Saints, and they're in the first slot of the wild card. And the Falcons, they are in the slot in the wild card. So yeah, these playoffs, that look really, it could turn out to be something interesting.
Oh, yeah. It's something you really don't see when you look at the teams that are in the playoffs this year. It's something unique. It's like there are no Broncos or, the normal type people that are normally in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
We got some like Titans and the Bills even.
Yeah, first time since 1999. So.
Also, if the Bills can make their way to actually go to the Super Bowl, it would be big.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. And you got certain teams that usually are in the playoffs that are out, like you discussed. You got the Ravens, who were knocked out. You got just a bunch of other teams. The Seahawks. The Packers with their whole quarterback situation of Aaron Rodgers. You got all these teams. Even the Lions. Detroit, you got these teams that are usually there in the playoffs competing, that you can't wait to see them, and currently, they're just not there. So, but yeah, to start off after that, we'd like to talk about a little bit, about what happened, in the regular season.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the first and most important thing, I think, it would be how Carson Wentz got hurt in that horrible game against the Rams. That's a big injury to his team. He's the leader, and not only on the field but off the field, he's making plays off the field. He works well with the coaching staff. He's really he's really into it with the team. So that really hurt the Eagles, which they seem to be the biggest and baddest foe in the league before he got hurt.
Oh, yeah. But, going back to what you were saying earlier, that last game the Eagles had, was like 6-0 against them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cowboys, they beat the Eagles,
Yeah.
And Foles, he did not play, good at all. He threw 4 for 11 for 39 yards, and he threw a pick.
Look at the records for the season. You got the Patriots with 13 wins, only 3 losses,
Yeah.
and then the Bills 9-7, pretty decent.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you got the Steelers 13-3, just like the Patriots.
Yeah, and that tiebreaker actually came from the Patriots getting their win over Pittsburgh when they traveled to Heinz Field. So, which it's really crazy to see these two teams always fight and always be close. However, the Patriots always seem to win. Tom Brady's record over the Steelers is now 11-2. He's beat them 11 times. And
Wow.
only lost twice. So, which is just insane. In his long career that he's been playing forever. It seems like Tom Brady. So crazy for them. And then you got teams that just weren't there this year that we usually expect them to be there. Like, for example, the Ravens, like we discussed. Joe Flacco and the offense was moving.
Yeah.
However, their defense just was horrific.
Teams like the Jaguars, they made it into the playoffs.
Yeah. For the first time in forever, it feels like for them.
Oh, yeah.
My goodness. With that fantastic game on the ground, that run game, Chris Ivory and the rest of those guys, with the front linemen, they do so well. And they got a really good defense as well. Malik Jackson came from that Super Bowl team in Denver. You got Blake Bortles at quarterback, young guy, really good. He's turning into something special over in Jacksonville. So.
And then you have the Titans. They was able to win their way into the playoffs. They played against the Jaguars. Almost lost it, but they but they won it.
Crazy game. You got
Oh,
you got a young quarterback with a old halfback who has a lot of experience. Have an old quarter. My goodness. You have a young quarterback with old halfback pairing that it's just been working out for Marcus. And is pairing with DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray, he's been running, again through people, over hill, over dale so far this season, and it's propelled the Titans into the playoffs this year. And their defense really has come a long way, it seems like. And then you got teams like Houston that just, it's a horrible story for them when they had Brock Osweiler. They, he's the 72. He got paid that big contract, and they thought he was going to be, the savior of Houston, and couldn't do it. And then you got teams like the Colts that they thought they were going to have a decent season, and then their main quarterback, Andrew Luck, gets hurt. And you got, and you have to say though, Jacoby, he played some great games for playing for a team that didn't really have a great offensive line, and their defense was subpar, to say the best. So,
but then you have the Chiefs. They are 10-6 currently, making their way into the playoffs. And then you have Chargers. There was another one of those that almost made it in, but didn't. Then the Raiders 6-10, and then bringing back the Broncos 5-11.
They got some issues there because, is Paxton Lynch their guy? Is Trevor Siemian their guy? Or heck, is it even Osweiler? So.
And then bringing back the Eagles, they're 13-3. That seems to be a very common number these days.
That whole division just crumbled.
Then the Cowboys 9-7.
9-7, which for them, they had a ton of problems. They had the scandal with the running back Ezekiel Elliott, and then just Cowboys don't have a defense. Really don't. Come a long way. Their pass rush with the whole entire D line has just came alive. They have a core at secondary now. It's not as bad. And Dak Prescott, his sophomore year, of what everyone thought he was gonna go for the MVP this year. Last year he thought that he was like the future of the league almost. And so I think he still is, but at the same time, I think he needs to learn more. He needs to learn how to run the ball better. He needs to, just find that rhythm of just being on a team.
And we have the Redskins 7-9.
Yeah, with Kirk Cousins and the rest of that squad, they just couldn't get it done this year. Simple enough.
Then the New York Giants, 3-13.
Yeah, with a slew of issues for them. They fired their coach mid-season with the whole Eli Manning thing and Geno Smith.
Yeah.
Who's their quarterback? And then the receiving core was out, like Odell and just other guys like that, and they have no offensive line.
Yeah.
Horrible year for them. And then speaking of 13-3,
Yeah.
again.
Back again.
You got the incredible and the always fun to watch Vikings out of that stadium deep in the heart of cold of Minnesota. Wow. They have had 2 different quarterbacks this year. Total of 3 different quarterbacks in the past 2 years, and yet they are still going to the playoffs every time and are still up there in contention. Sam Bradford in the first week played a great game, and everyone thought that he was going to take it for sure to the Super Bowl. And then he got hurt, and no one really knew what was going to go on with that team, with that core. And then Case Keenum showed up, the third string. Mind you, the third string came, and he's just been playing great. Case Keenum is the guy, I believe, that he can take this team to the Super Bowl.
You got the Lions 9-7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah, with the Lions, you really didn't have anything going on. You had Stafford. Yeah, you had Stafford.
yeah, that happened.
They had to give the ball more to Amir Abdullah, which it was working a little bit. On the ground game, they established the running game, but at the same time, their defense just can't stop. And Stafford can be clutch, however, he isn't really clutch. So in those close game situations against those rivals like the Vikings and the Packers and everything, he's just having problems getting it done. And then speaking of Green Bay, you have their horrible year, which at the same time they were 7-9.
Yeah, it's not a good year.
Yeah,
but it's not like a
horrible year on paper.
It's not a 3-13.
Yeah, it's not a Giants or a Browns year. Oh my goodness. Which for Green Bay, their whole situation went very hard for them to see that, to see them go through that. With Rodgers, how he's been, playing so well at the start of the season, and then he gets hurt in that week 6 game. And then he's just out. He's got 13 screws and 2 plates in his shoulder. And then he comes back and can't beat Carolina. So it's a hard season for them, especially because of Brent Huntley. Yeah, it's a hard season for them. but yeah. And you got Chicago, who was only 2 games behind them, with their first year quarterback, and this kid Trubisky, he has a little bit, ways to go. So.
And then next up, you have the Carolina Panthers. They went 11-5,
and still didn't win the division.
And then New Orleans Saints, also 11-5. Falcons went 10-6.
Yeah.
Buccaneers 5-11.
Tampa Bay just was not on it with Jameis Winston this year.
Yeah. And back to the Rams. They was also 11-5. Seahawks, one of those not bad but not good years, 9-7.
Yeah, and they still couldn't get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
This is the first time that Seattle, under the leadership and guide of the bad man himself, Russell Wilson, they were not able to get into the playoffs.
And the Cardinals 8-8.
Yeah, with their whole issues of quarterback, Carson Palmer getting hurt, and then David Johnson was hurt earlier in the year, and they made the trade for Adrian Peterson. I thought that was a really good trade. At the same time though, you got guys like David Johnson that were playing really good, and then they get sent home for good because they get hurt. So that's that's sad for him. And you got San Francisco, who looks like a possible playoff team in the future.
Oh yeah,
because of Garoppolo. He's won 6 games in a row with them.
Hasn't lost a single one this year.
He hasn't lost yet. So,
who knows? He may be in next year's Before the Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That could be.
But that is everyone's standings of this season. So we're going to move on to the next games that are starting Saturday. We got Tennessee versus the Chiefs, Falcons and Rams.
Oof.
That one's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
Buffalo versus Jacksonville. Carolina versus the Saints.
Who do you see?
See a lot of people.
I see people. Who do you see being the 2 teams that will head to the Super Bowl this year?
Well, I know for sure the Patriots.
Yeah, probably.
If not Patriots, Steelers. Then on the other side, I would have to say the Vikings.
Yeah.
Then the winner, probably the Patriots.
Probably. Yeah, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
I would have to change one simple thing, though. However, if the Vikings go to the Super Bowl, I think they can win. Mainly because Case Keenum has just been on it. And you also have to add into the fact that if the Vikings go to the Super Bowl, it's going to be a home game for them.
Oh, yeah.
And that crowd is going to be loud. Many, many fans of the Vikings are going to go there. So if they manage to go there, the type of, home field advantage is going to, have a new meaning.
Oh, yeah.
So
imagine if it'd be like the Jaguars or the Bills versus like the Falcons or something.
oh my goodness.
That'd be crazy. But yeah, I believe that's all we have for today.
Yeah.
We will be doing a Super Bowl analysis podcast. Will be sometime in the week after the Super Bowl. Sadly, there are no Super Bowl ads in that about our podcast. So yeah. Oh well. Hopefully next time I'll be able to talk much better. But
running a little. The 2 of us are running a little hurt today and sick, but
yeah, we're trying to get to the finish.
But yeah. So
but the next podcast for us is our preseason NASCAR podcast, which is our pride and joy, basically.
Yeah.
So join us for that. We'll be discussing our new formats of the podcast and talk about the new information about the Daytona 500, and we'll get the season started the way it should be. We are Adam and David of the Incredicast podcast, and we are signing out.